Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. It is Monday the 30th of March. Can you believe it's nearly the end of March? I can't. But Andy, I need to go back to what we were talking about before with the 18 stuff.
Right.
And turning it into the vape team. Obviously, we've got Dave Dawn's Hannibal.
Yeah, we've got a show of the day.
Well, a few weeks ago, he said the line, I love it when a plan comes together, and then had a bit of vape.
I got to say, I had a little bit of a joygasm at that.
Yeah, I mean, that was fantastic. You've obviously got to be BA, right? Because you've got the hair already going, and you've got the beard already going. You just need the medallions. You've got the walk. That's sorted.
Hey,
right?
You saying I look like I poop myself?
No, I'm just saying you've got that walk.
Mm-hmm.
You do that walk. Then you've got Murdoch. Now, I want it to be Murdoch, but I think Murdoch should be Gary Dibley. Because let's face it, he could make something out of nothing. And I'm pretty sure he could convince someone who was scared to go on a helicopter or an aeroplane.
See, this is where it falls apart, because I really like helicopters.
Yeah, but... Yeah, okay. But he's mad, isn't he?
True,
Mad Murdoch.
Give the man a pair of nuts and a spanner and he's happy for hours.
Yeah, exactly. So Mad Murdoch, Gary Dibley. But what really gets my goat, right, is a couple of weeks ago, I picked the garage door lock with some tweezers and a screwdriver from an e-cig. So it's got another use. And I picked a lock and opened it because we'd lost the key. Right, so I could do that. And back in my youth, I was good with the ladies and had some fun, so to speak. But the reason you said I should be the face man is because of my hair.
Yeah, man. You got that whole...
Not the fact that I can pick a lock. Not the fact that I had the charisma with the ladies when I was young, but because of the hair.
Yeah.
What's with that, man?
Well, it's the exact same reason you're calling me B.A. Braggers.
Yeah, but you've got the hairiness and the beard. You just need the medallions. You've got the walk. I've just got the hair.
Yeah, you just got the hair, dude.
Anyway, this is an e-cig show. This is Drips and Tips, and I think we should run the titles. Let's get it going.
Run the titles!
Should I get the magic sponge? That's a keeper. Try that again. Oh man. Number two.
And that's a wrap.
And here we are. So, we did have a lot of things that we were going to bring you tonight.
Oh, mate, we was well happy yesterday, weren't we?
We had so much stuff planned.
We got about, we had about 4 nights worth of viewing, few lots, like that.
Even more. It was just, we had so much stuff to bring you. And then today has gone mad. So we are going to be doing stuff off the cuff. We've got a few things we need to speak about. Mm-hmm. And there's some important stuff in there, but none more important than one of our brand new presenters who we're going to introduce tonight. Are we not?
Well, he's brand new to you. I've been working with him for quite some time, actually, on and off. So.
Yeah, I've known him for ages as well. He's a bit of a dick, really, to be honest. But
Hey.
there he is. There he is. It's Danny.
I didn't say it, man. He's just bro.
Terrible.
How are you, Danny? How you doing, mate?
I'm not too bad. How's yourself?
Yeah, not bad at all. Not bad at all.
Welcome
You have
the
to
mob.
excuse the beard. It needs redying. It's just pure white at the moment.
It was pink,
So-
wasn't it?
It was pink and it's been purple. I think I'm blue next time.
Blue. I was going to say you're a certain team boy, aren't you? So
Yes, a
Wasn't
certain
that place?
team.
so
Just so happened to be one of the best teams in Europe.
it's football, dude. I couldn't give monkeys.
No.
Well, I'm in it.
We're talking darts, I think.
Well,
Darts. I can do darts.
Darts is my game.
I play darts too.
Danny, you are the man of 1,000 reviews, aren't you? I mean, you literally do review after review after review.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been doing it for a few years now.
I've been
But,
going for like 2.5 years, yeah.
yeah, so what's your vaping history? What have you been? How did you start? How did you get into it?
I started when I started. I started completely by accident. I bought an Ego 510T. No, it wasn't even an Ego. It was a 510T tank system. You know the little plastic tanks you used to stick in the top.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
had a little spike. I started on those, and I only got it because I like gadgets.
He does.
Because it was a gadgety way of smoking, I thought, oh, I'm going to have some of that. But then, a week later, I had an Ego, and in about 2 weeks after that, I was on a mech mod. So it just all sort of went really fast.
You kind
Now,
of spiral. Yeah.
3 years later, I've still not touched a cigarette. So
And how
Yeah.
did you get into the reviewing side of things? I mean, what got you starting on the channel and
that
doing
again happened by
liquids?
accident. That
So
was
it was-
the vapes.
you
I went
just
to see- yeah.
went, oh yeah, I'm going to try that and film it?
No, I went. Basically, Terry contacted me. Terry is Leisure Liquids, and he said, "I'm going to send you this juice just to have a taste." So I thought, well, screw this. I'm going to film this and see what happens. And then just from there, it went on and on and on and on and on. That was another thing that happened totally by accident. It's great, really.
It is good, and I've got to say, I mean, not long after I started vaping, I watched some of your videos,
Yeah,
and they're very good. You're
Thank
very
you.
honest about what you say. You know, you're obviously talking the truth when you're talking about these things.
that's just part of my style. I do everything off the cuff. I don't plan anything.
Yeah,
Basically, I put the camera on, and that is it.
well, that's how it should be, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
What are you hoping to bring to VTTV? How are you going to slot in here?
Blue
What are you
beard.
going to be bringing to us?
Yes, blue beard. Lots of hats.
This is a
yeah.
private joke. I want my shoe back.
I will super glue a shoe to the wall, Andy.
Thank you.
Alright? Mrs. Caesar said she'll get you one.
Thank you. Love you, be person. I can't say that word on.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
our thing. We have a
But
thing.
hopefully, I can bring something. I mean, I've got a lot of knowledge. Hopefully, I can bring that to the table and just some fun and shit and giggles.
Well, until you giggle and poop.
What was that, Andy?
Until you giggle and poop.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's all shits and
what-
giggles till someone giggles and shits.
Careful about the language as well.
Yeah. Oh shit. Oh,
Danny!
my apologies. I'm not. As I said, it's all off the cuff. It's all I'm not used to doing my own videos, so yeah.
That's all right, mate. It's your first time on here.
To be fair, it took me a while to sort of get comfortable with not effing and blinding every second word. So
No,
the first couple of shows, I'm like,
Yeah.
but I
I
guess he did.
still
I'll
have
rein it
to
in a
stop
bit.
myself now. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's so many times I have to. I just really want to
I
rant and
know
rave and can't do it.
Bloody episode.
Yeah.
He's like, oi, Timothy, thank you.
But honestly, Danny, good to have you aboard.
Yeah.
We've got another couple of people who are going to be joining us who are going to be bringing different things to the group.
Yeah.
And so we've got a lot of good stuff coming up.
Mm.
Danny, I think you can do your reviews on here, and then obviously stick them on the YouTube page afterwards.
If that's
And join in with the chats and the coiling and all that kind of stuff. And,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah. I mean, I
all that
can't.
stuff.
If it, as I say to everyone, if it's part of vaping, I've probably done it. So if I can help anyway,
Well,
help,
if you
you
can
know?
help me with this bloody coil master, then please, because Andy knows that I cannot make a coil at all. I'm useless at it. So I got one of these
You
coil
appear to
masters.
just turn into a handful of thumbs when you coil. It's quite,
Yeah,
it's
it
hypnotic
is
to
like
watch.
a monkey, isn't it? It's like that.
And he's got the tongue and everything goes.
I
Yeah.
do the tongue. I do the tongue. I've got to admit, the tongue helps with concentration.
It does. Thank you.
It helps you with concentration, Danny. With
I
him,
have a
it just makes
supporter.
it look ridiculous.
Yes.
No, you still look ridiculous.
No, but I've got one of these coil master thingies, and I still can't coil. It just doesn't work. I can't.
What
do
is it? One of the
How can you not-
little twisty tubes.
Yeah, the twisty tubey thing.
It'd
I
be
used one the other
easier.
day, and they are actually harder.
That's what I thought.
They're easier than.
Thank you.
Like, I've got two coil jigs. I've got one of them Curo Concepts ones, and I've got a Turbico one. And I got to say, for just quick coiling, I much prefer the Curo Concepts. It's just bam. Well, the one thing I always say to anybody who's thinking of getting one and hasn't used one or seen anything do them, do the twisting loosely so it naturally pushes itself up. Because my first coil was more of a flat spring. I'm like this. I'm like, so that's what DK was on about. Yeah, let it naturally push itself up. That's one of the tricks that you really, really, really should be doing.
Right, and then do you have to still burn the coil? And twist it
No, we've
together
got
a little bit?
we've got the confirmation now why you can't coil, Davey. There's a height restriction on those coilers. You have to be over 5'3", and you're only 18 inches tall.
Yeah, let's ignore that chat. I think we said that pre-show.
It's not.
So, another bitch. Yes, so,
Language, Timothy.
yeah. Welcome aboard, Danny. We've got another few people to introduce, not tonight, but they will be coming on board soon.
Yeah.
And it's great to have you here. You
Totally.
know,
Totally.
we're going to have some fun. We'll gently introduce you until Kat is back on board. And once you've been told off by Kat and by Sav,
Yeah.
then you'll rein yourself
Yeah.
very quickly. Trust me.
I'll tell you what, Kat is one of the
You mess
most
things up,
wonderful
you're done.
women in the world. I'll tell you, I love Kat and I'll tell you South of
absolutely.
Paris, right? You know, I love her that
Absolutely.
much. But that's no bloody secret. But when they give you a tongue lashing, you stay tail.
Yeah. You get told, dude.
I remember I did a cock up once on one episode. Right. I can't even repeat it on air. It was just, right, that was a really good show, guys. But Andy, you're a. I was like, okay.
I
Yes,
have
ma'am.
no idea what you people are talking about.
Hiya, Sav. How are you?
Hello!
Hello, darling. Tickets are booked.
Can I have a show now, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Right, what's the first port of call in, David? Wait.
Right, well, first port of call, seeing as we've got to change everything last minute, is Vapors in Power.
Yes.
Apparently, they need another
Was it
nearly
500 or something?
£500 in the next 60 hours for the fundraiser.
So-
So I think the link can be put into chat. There we go. We've got it on screen now.
Fabulars.
General election campaign 2015. Again, yes, I know we're asking you to put your hand in your pocket and spend some money, but guys, come on. Vapors in Power. Let's get it up there.
To be an actual combative force on our side, our voice in the halls of power, as it were, they need this money. They really do. I shall I'll pop another 20 quid in myself later after the show. So I'll bring it up to what? Well, 2006 there. 2006 and 2005. So, you know, it is really important, guys. I mean, I do try to talk to Liam and that as often as possible. Admittedly, I've got all my kids with me this week during the holidays, so it's been a little difficult. But these people will be our voices in Parliament. Right.
And that's the point, isn't it? I mean, that's what we need. We need what we're saying about e-cigs. We need this to be said to the people who don't know about this stuff, because as has been said on many shows before, those of us who are on VTTV or who watch these shows, we already know about this stuff. But it's the people who don't, and there are so many millions more who don't know about this stuff, that need people who do know about this stuff to be talking about this stuff.
And of course, they're more likely going to be listened to than us, because of course we're all AstroTurf.
Oh yeah, AstroTurf.
We're all sponsored by Big Vaping now, isn't it? Which is another thing we'll get onto in a bit.
Yeah, we'll come on to that.
But yeah, you know, we're a multi-billion-pound international conglomerate of numpties, I suppose. But you know, that's what. Again, it's misinformation, and these guys will be the people with the truth in Parliament. I know that seems like a dichotomy in terms, ladies and gentlemen, but that's what it is. That's what they're there for. That's what they want to do.
Yeah. The thing is that gets me about all that, though, is this is an industry, a business that's been built up from nothing into something massive, which is helping millions and millions of people around the world. And yet you've got a select few, not mentioning any names, who just want to bring the whole thing down. And
it's
we've got an opportunity. Yeah, but we've got an opportunity here with Vapors in Power to have our say, because they're listening to us. They've been on shows. They've told us their planning. They've told us what they want to do, and we've got this opportunity to get our point across. And we need to get that funding there. It's very important.
And I think probably most importantly, if legislation and regulation is going to be put down, it's a voice of reason within those legislative halls.
Yes.
With things like remove 2 mil sealed units and all this sort of business, you know, that's unrealistic.
Yeah, of course.
Because I use these products. You know, that's exactly the voice that's going to be heard across the halls. You know, sorry, this is unrealistic. You can't do this because it ain't going to work. You know, I've said it before. I've said it on Shenanigans. I've said it on other places again. It's just pure and simple an illegal industrial hostile takeover.
Which is where, I mean, that leads nicely onto the Totally Wicked legal campaign, doesn't it? Because they have a thing. They're fighting this because obviously we do have a legal challenge there, which is why we should be supporting Totally Wicked.
Indeed.
And exactly what they're following. I mean, Danny, what's your thoughts about this?
It can only be helpful to have someone just there to say, well, look, you're proposing this, but this is what I'm using. It's not practical.
Yeah.
I've not used anything that's 2 mil sealed unit since I started. It goes back to what that goes at. Which as we know as vapors don't really work, not very well. I used my Uncle's CE4 the other day, and it is just so tight, and you just can't get any decent sort of draw out of it. I can't see how they want that to be the only thing that's available. I think it's a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's also the flavour side of things. I mean, obviously you, Danny, as a reviewer of different flavours, if they get rid of flavours completely, then again, the whole point of vaping is unique preferences. We like one thing and another person doesn't like it, and vice versa. So that would go out the window as well.
Well, there's currently something for everybody, isn't there?
Yeah.
In my videos, something I always say is it's all down to personal preference, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to take away your personal preference.
Turn you
And
into
that's
a number.
Exactly. I mean, it comes down to it. From when I started vaping nearly 3 years ago now, I got the bug for shiny-itis, and so I went out and bought all these different devices, and I've got probably about 50 of them lying around. I'm now down to 3 that I use, and that's the iStick, the Cloud T5, and the e-cigs Supreme. The iStick has one flavouring, the T5 has another flavouring, and the e-cigs Supreme has another flavouring. And I switch as I want to. But under these regulations, that would be gone. So it ruins the whole thing, doesn't it?
Indeed, and again, that brings us neatly back around to why we need vapors in power to actually be a viable force.
Precisely, yes. We need people fighting our corner, we need people there in power.
Something else that occurs to me. Obviously, it's going to be known that these have been crowdfunded, like the Indiegogo stuff. Perhaps for once and for all, this could put paid to this whole we're sponsored by big industry, or we are just merely the tools of big industry.
Yes, but I see that point, but it could backfire, because if someone makes a big donation, they could say it's come from Big Pharma or Big Tobacco.
Yeah, but Big Pharma and Big Tobacco would just go, here's your registration fee in full, to be fair, wouldn't they?
Or they could make many small donations and try and hide the fact they're doing that.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
the
smart enough, aren't they?
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I think that it could help dispel this stupid myth myself. Anyway, we've approached the end of the first half. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a quick interlude with some advertising. Unless you got something to say there, Danny?
No.
Oh,
I was looking at the time.
Cool. Right, let's have some ads. See you in a bit.
Yeah.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Award-winning service and products from cloud9vaping.co.uk.
Vapors. Dripper just got 40% bigger. So if you love discovering new e-liquids, tell Dripper what flavours you like and we'll send you 70ml of juice and at least 5 flavours. With a money-back guarantee and free delivery anywhere in Europe, dripper.co.uk.
Joytech UK are proud sponsors of VapeTrails.tv.
Right, so going back to that whole Vapors in Power thing, Blazer's put into chat that no donations over 10% are allowed, which is fine. But we need to try and dispel this myth about us being funded by Big Tobacco or Big Pharma.
Or big anything, really, for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, it is literally this community of vapors who've come together because we believe in what we're doing, because we've found a safer alternative to using lit tobacco, and we've all come together and joined together, and we're spending our own money to make people aware of what we're doing and understand things.
I was unemployed for a good 2 years when I first moved to Worcester. I had some odd jobs here and there, temping and whatnot, but never enough to buy anything super shiny or super nice until I got my job with the Angel. And so, I was on job seekers, and I did whatever I could with whatever I had. I mean, as it was, I managed to come out of it quite nicely, to be fair. Obviously, I did reviews myself for a while. I got a few nice, tasty bits and bobs here and there for the purpose of review, as it were, but I've either moved them on to people more needy than I, or once I got my job, I was making bloody good money, actually, to be fair. They paid really well, but it was always my own cash.
Yeah,
my own cash.
Same here. I mean, I have spent God knows how much. I've got Pravari, I've got 3 Nemesises, genuine ones. I've got all these different devices here. And I've only ever received 3 free things. And something that needs to be mentioned here is, of course, that all of us on VTTV, we don't get paid to do this.
Nope.
We take our time out to research the news and to broadcast to you. We buy our own equipment. Everything is done by ourselves.
Everything I'm using here right now, with the exception of my desktop, which was it's a loaner, basically. Camera, brought by me. Mixing desk by me. Microphone, brought by me. Mic stand, shock mount, speakers, extra hard drive, headsets, everything. We pay for it all ourselves. I mean, you think I was unemployed for 2 years, dude? Alright? My previous cam, before this one, was only like 25 quid, but still, I struggled to get that together. What I'm going to say is, in the early days, I'm thankful to all my very good friends that I've met and made through vaping who, out of the kindness of their own heart, gave me stuff to get me going. Yeah,
well, that's the beauty of this community, though, isn't it? I mean, we all stick together, and if someone is genuinely in need of help, we will help them out.
Go out your way, short off your own back types.
Yeah. But there is no funding whatsoever from any companies, any big tobacco, any big pharma, anything whatsoever. It's us doing this because we want to help you. And we want to help you, and we want you to help us. So people watching these shows, if you have something that you want us to cover, you want us to talk about, just let us know, and we will do our best to get it covered.
You got the Twitter pages, you've got the Facebook pages. I'm sure there's other social media, but it's generally Twitter or Facebook. I mean, Christ, I'm always on bloody Facebook. Running JV and all that. Almost.
I hate Facebook. I hate it.
Well, do you know what? I'm not the biggest fan of it either, but I created a bit of a behemoth there with the original 6. We're nearly we're just shy of 2,000 people. 2,000 people.
That's fantastic.
A lot of them here in the chat themselves already, But anyway, we digress. We do.
Yes, Vapers in Power. Get down there.
Get
them to that magic marker. Let's get them in there. Let's do everything we can to help out, and let's get the word out there.
Look what happened with Richard Pruin. Look what happened with the last time we mentioned this. Best chat ever.
Yeah.
Best chat ever.
Absolutely.
Okay then. What's the next Bill of Rights then, as it were?
Right. Shall we move on? And I think Dave Dawn is going to join us on this one. To Julia of Toronto.
Yes.
So Dave, hello. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much. How are you?
Did you have
very well, thank you.
Sorry, what? What was that, Andy?
Did you have your coffee?
I did.
Don't ask. Andy, leave it alone.
Seriously, when Greg's coffee tastes nice, that tells you what the coffee's like on the Isle of Wight. It rhymes with Isle of Wight. It was what is known in the trade as disgustipating. I've never had such bad coffee in my life. But it won't stop me from going there again.
Oh,
Yes.
you haven't had my daughter make you a coffee yet, mate. That's, you know, we won't go there. So, Julia of Toronto.
Julia
Dave.
of Toronto. Let me bring up what she wrote. Here she is. This is in Vox.com. How big vaping is misinforming the public about e-cigarettes. It says, California is the newest case study in the e-cigarette information wars. On Sunday, California's Public Health Department went live with an awareness campaign about e-cigarettes on a new website, Still Blowing Smoke. Now, anybody that's on Twitter will have seen all of this going on. And by the time of their official launch on Monday, vaping advocates were already on the offensive with a nearly identical site, Not Blowing Smoke. And then there's this very clever graphic. So what you've got there, what you see now, is the Still Blowing Smoke graphic, and here is what was on the notblowingsmoke.org website. There's a lot that California Public Health isn't telling us about vaping. And Julia of Toronto says the websites are easy to confuse. Backed by 3 vaping advocacy groups, there's the first lie, it's not.
Yeah.
Not Blowing Smoke borrows font, design elements and imagery from the state's website, except where California's is filled with public health warnings about e-cigarettes. The copycat site downplays the health concerns and says the science proving these devices are healthy is unequivocal. Sorry, I'm falling all over my tongue tonight. And there's more of that and more of that and more of that and more of that. And then she goes on to say that, just like Stanton Glantz, that this is all funded. This is all funded by Big Vapor. So you've
Big
got
Vapor. So we've got a new one now, haven't we?
Yes.
So it's not just Big Tobacco or Big Pharma. We've now got Big Vapor. And what the hell is Big Vapor?
This is Big Vapor. I got Big Vapor there. That's Big
No, that's just showing off.
It's exactly what that is. No, what Stan, the man, the failed mechanic, and Julia are trying to hint at is that, in fact, actually, on Stan's blog, somebody come in and said that the spend on advertising by Big Vapor amounts to $1 billion annually. This from an industry that has only just managed to hit $2 billion in revenue. There you go.
It's phenomenal, isn't it?
It's amazing. Amazing that... Go on.
I don't understand where this is coming from. I mean, to be honest, from a personal point of view, I mean, we use the lies and all that come out of politicians' mouths all the time, and people in, you know, important jobs and what have you. But what utter bollocks, to be honest. And I do not apologise for my language yet because it's rubbish.
Look, let's be absolutely right about this. The majority of the lies that you hear coming out of politicians' mouths have been put there. And they have been put there by the people who advise them. I should say the people who advise them.
Yes.
Who?
Who? Yes.
Who? Well, now, think about this. And this is a conversation I was having last week as well. When you look at where information has come from in the past, trustworthy sources, you would have, as I said on Thursday, 3 individual sources and the overall World Health Organization, WHO organization. And they were seen as the fount of truthful knowledge about everything to do with disease, non-communicable diseases, smoking, tobacco and everything else. And they were acknowledged as the people that you speak to. However, those three and the WHO appear to have a downer on e-cigs. No matter where you think that downer might have come from, it could be brown envelopes coming from farmer, it could be from anywhere, but wherever you think that's come from, those three people and the WHO have a downer on e-cigs, and they are the people who used to be trustworthy. Now they're just a pack of egregious liars. The Jeremy Hunts of this world. Rhyming slang's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But as Lala's said in chat, Big Vapor is Little Vapor getting together. And that's what we need, isn't it? We need this little community to grow bigger and bigger and get all the millions of people who are vaping who don't know what's going on to get them involved in this kind of thing.
Well, yeah. Look, I mean, the fact of the matter is, let's look at the UK. Look at the UK. There are 2.1 million vapers, a third of which, the 700,000, have completely switched. Another third of which, according to Linda Bolt and various others, are on the journey to a complete switch and have vastly reduced their use of lit tobacco, and another third who currently are dual users. Now, dual using is something which the NICE committee has said is a good thing, because their research would suggest that dual users are more likely to make a complete switch or even to completely quit altogether, to become nicotine abstinent, than those who are not using a safer form alongside the lit tobacco. The problem that we face, I think, as a community, is that the majority of people, the majority of those 2.1 million, do not know that the TPD exists. They do not know that the Totally Wicked Challenge exists. They do not know of all of the disinformation that's being put out or where it's coming from. All they see is what they see in the papers. And Keith would have been a prime example of that. Keith knows very little about what goes on VTTV, very little about what goes on in advocacy circles and that kind of thing. And he's quite representative of the man in the street. And the man in the street just doesn't know that all of this is going on.
So do you not also see it as a problem then that a lot of companies are forcing vapers to go out into the smoking shelters or the little smoking areas they have outside to stand with other cigarette users, which would then force them to, or may force them to dual use? They may think, oh, I've got my e-cig here, but actually quite look at that cigarette, and I'll try that instead.
I would say very early stage users would be tempted back to the demon weed. Because I've got a lot of lads and lasses in the group who are, oh my god, my company's forcing me to go inside in the smokers area. But it doesn't matter, because I'll just go elsewhere. Like they go off premises or into their cars or whatever. And the more advanced users and the more deeper stage users like ourselves, I mean, right, let's take that pub that's banned vaping internally up and down the country. Now, you make of this what you will, but we have one here in Worcester called the Postal Order, which we go to a lot because it's cheap food, good quality food, and we have a lot of meals, family meals and stuff there. Now, I've got a choice when I go there. I go there with Mark, I go there with my sister-in-law's chap, you know. We're all vapors, all fully paid up mech variable wattage device users, dripper users, all that, some fully paid up late game vapors. We don't go to the smokers area, we go outside. And maybe up the street a little. So, I think it depends on what sort of stage. The early stage people, the people who don't know all this sort of thing, would do that. But then that's what we're here for.
So then, yeah, you've got that. But then, as a counter argument to that, I mean, I have to say that I've got a friend who spent 9 months teaching English in Cuba, and he came back. When was it? About 6 months ago, with a bag full of Cuban cigars. And he came over, and we sat outside, and as you know, I'm part of the team. I've been vaping for nearly 3 years, but I sat there with him and I enjoyed a Cuban cigar. And I genuinely can say I enjoyed it. I like the taste, I like the flavour. It's not something I do regularly. I would not light up a cigarette or, you know, roll your own or anything like that. But I sat there, had a nice time with him. We had a good chat and a good laugh for about 20 minutes while we smoked this big fat thing. And it was great. But my point is, if you are forced to use an e-cigarette while you're around people using lit tobacco, would that not encourage you to use lit tobacco rather than the e-cig? Whereas,
no.
well,
Look, this is something that is being addressed. The Scottish Parliament, for instance, in its initial consultation had said that they were considering treating e-cigs like tobacco and that there would be a public space ban and so on and so forth. They've now recanted. They've rescinded that. They're not going to go ahead with that.
That's good.
There are moves of, well, we know Public Health England, ASH, even Cancer Research UK and others are now saying in England there should be no public place ban. The science doesn't support it, and there are people who understand that placing... Sorry?
Take what you said last week on Haze Hour with Fresh North East.
Yes, exactly right. Fresh North East has gone down that road. They don't support it. And it's moving towards that. We're beginning to see more of a move towards that in Wales. And those who would represent us in the EU, again, we're kind of getting little murmurs that that's what they're seeing in the EU, that they realise that the TPD isn't fit for purpose, in fact. So all of this, everything's moving in the right direction. What we need, what we absolutely need, is for public spaces, and I don't consider them to be public spaces, but private establishments like bars, clubs, pubs, all of that kind of thing. We need to get them putting up vaping welcome or no vaping. Then everybody knows. Yeah. Then everybody can vote with their feet. Because I, for one, will not go to an establishment that will not allow vaping. Now, a case in point, we landed in the Isle of Wight on Friday night, and as it turns out, the hotel we were at didn't have the sense to open their restaurant, even though we were sitting there with, you know, money to spend. So we went out on the Friday night and found a little place called Perks. If you're ever over there in Ventnor, go to Perks. It's a vape-friendly establishment. There was no problem at all. They were quite happy that I was sitting there enjoying life, blowing little plumelets. I'll freely admit I wasn't clout chasing, but I was enjoying an open vape with no problem from either the management or anybody else there.
Yeah.
And that meant we went back there on Sunday night as well.
Yeah.
And never a problem.
That comes back to something, it's, I think I've mentioned this before. There's two pubs on the estate here. One is vape friendly, the other one isn't. The one that isn't is not doing very well at all. The one that is vape friendly is booming. And you've got people in there, and they're not blowing clouds. They are simply sitting there either with their Ego and C4s, or they've got their i-sticks, whatever. They're not blowing clouds. They're just simply sitting there, having a drink, having a vape, having a chat, and enjoying themselves. They can be watching the football or the darts or the rugby, whatever's going on the telly, but they're having a good time. But that business is booming, whereas a non-vaping business is going down.
My pub of choice, exact same. Where I used to work, in the Angel, we had two pubs of choice actually. I have about, I think about 6 in that one little area. Now this is in the town centre, not local to me, so if I do want to go to the pub, it's a bit of a trek. But we got the one right opposite the shop. Now the owner is Vapor herself, a very nice Canadian lady. May even be hosting my dance team. Yay! And she used to come into the shop and everything, buy her stuff, and she's like, yeah, come on over for a drink. We allow vaping. In fact, a business that had subsequently shut now, it was called Free to Vapor. They went around all the pubs in Worcester, in the high street, and asked if they would allow vaping, and if they did, they give them a sign. Vaping allowed here. Obviously, monikered up with all their emblems. But my personal favourite is the one that's a bit further down the way. They like what happened with Dave, like what happens with you at your local, we go in there at a time. My little leaving do, we had at least 30 people, or the majority of us chucking dirty great big clouds. Only complaint we had is the same complaint we always get, because we always sit next to the door and an open window. They always got the front windows open at the top. We always sit there in that little corner. So obviously, if there's an excess of vapour, it generally travels outwards. The only complaint we generally get is, "Oh, shut that door, it's a bit cold." That's it. And they're doing exceptionally well, because all the vapors know about it. It must do. It's like, oh, we'll go here, we'll go there. You know.
Well, that's the point. That's exactly the point, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, for me, it's very, very simple. My wallet goes where vaping is allowed, and I used to say to people, just don't ask, just do it, because you're not breaking any laws and you're not being rude or anything like that. Just do it. Now, I'm thinking it's probably wise to wander up to the bar and say, "Excuse me, my chap, good chap, do you allow vaping in this establishment?"
Exactly
And if they say, "Well, actually, sir, no," I'll say, "Oh, fine. Then I'll take my extremely bulging wallet and very, very large group of friends elsewhere, where they do," and make the point.
Yeah.
Right, on that note, we'll stop it there and we'll take the adverts. When we come back, we'll take some stuff from chat.
Of course,
so
we did go over,
see
didn't we?
you in two.
See you in a bit.
Davy, you're so masterful.
Aren't I just?
Healthy Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and e-liquids. Proud sponsors of vaping entertainment on Vapor Trails TV.
RY4 Radio.
welcome back, guys. Right.
Right, before we carry on, I think we should hear what Danny has to say about what we've been talking about.
Indeed.
Danny boy.
Danny
You're in the limelight, mate. Go for it.
Because most of the places I frequent allow vaping. So I use a lot of social clubs and stuff like that, and they allow vaping, so I'm quite lucky there.
Your mic's gone funny again.
Yeah, sorry, mate, lost you.
2 seconds. Go on, I'll be back in 1 minute.
Okay, this happened earlier, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, tech issues again. Oh, wonderful. We'll have
Good
Danny
old-
back in a minute.
Good old Hingoot today.
Right, so Andy, can you read out some comments from chat?
Right, what we got? We had a real good one actually from Flipback Lady, which was forcing out into smoking zones one of the greatest barriers to quitting for vapors. Totally agree. She also had another one about the earlier subjects. Shows us mere mortals have got them all worried. Danny, you're back.
I'm back. Am I better?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can hear you now,
Yes.
man. Right. You might be
What I was
better
saying-
than we can hear you.
Yeah. What I was saying is I'm quite lucky. A lot of places I go like social clubs and stuff like that. They allow vaping anyway. They've got no issue with me being in there, and I can blow a cloud. And I might get a look from someone who's not been there frequently, and they might think, "Oh, what the hell is he doing?" But I can then go explain and say like, "Well, this is this and this is that," and they generally don't mind. So I'm quite lucky.
But that's the thing, though,
Places
isn't
I
it,
do
Danny?
experience it is what. Go on, Andy.
That's the thing. Once it's explained in what I would call layman terms,
Yeah.
this is a liquid, it's not burnt, it's not going to cause you anything. Worst case scenario, it smells nice, which is one of the
Yes.
things I get said to me quite a lot. Oh, that
Yeah.
smells nice.
Oh, is that strawberry milkshake?
It smells
Yeah.
just like custard.
It's something I've got to mention there, actually, is because, you know, you quite often sit in a pub or a restaurant or something, and they don't allow vaping because people say, "Oh, I don't like the smell of the liquid coming out," whatever. But then you sat next to someone eating an egg or something that smells disgusting. You have to put up with the smell of the food, but the smell of the vapor, no, that's you can't have that.
I always
What's
think
up with
that
that?
because it's a smell they can see. If that makes any sense.
It
Yeah.
does,
It makes
yeah,
them
because
associate different things with different stuff.
yeah.
I think as well.
That's how
I've got to be
said it.
honest. I honestly think that as vapors we're possibly too polite. Actually, as gentlefolk we're possibly too polite unless you can see something. For instance, my darling daughter and I, just prior to the winter celebration, toddled off to a rather well-to-do establishment for an afternoon tea. You know, high tea thing with sandwiches and cakes piled up.
The thing.
Yes. And there were some ladies, I'm going to say, wafted past. My God almighty, it was like being at the Stinkies counter in House of Fraser. Seriously. As there was just this fog of pong. And this was not a daytime pong, this was a nighttime pong. The kind of pong, gentlemen, sometimes, you know where I'm coming from?
Yeah, don't go there, Dave. Don't go there.
Yes, the kind of pong ladies wear when they intend to do impersonations of wheelbarrows for their gentlefolk. And it just totally... And it, seriously, it's enough to put you off your macaron. It really is. It puts you off your cucumber sandwich, I find. Completely ruins the gentle taste of a prawn sandwich. Which one might associate with said pong, I don't. But you never turn around and go, "Hell, missus, you stink. Can you bugger off somewhere else and smell, please?" You just don't, do you? And yet other folks, just because there's a little bit of a cloud, a cloudlet, a plumelet, you know. "Oh, that smells of custard. Take it away, you nasty person. I'm going to be sick." Ah.
I've said it to one before, and I should never say it again. You don't like the smell of custard. What bloody world are you from?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, even sitting one of our local cinemas, they allow vaping at the back. All right, now we're not doing anything dodgy at the back, so don't. But I'm sat at the back and I'm vaping. And there's people sat in front and they're munching on their sweets and they've got sweet wrappers rattling so you can't hear what's going on the street and all that kind of crap. And you're like, well, hang on a minute. All I'm doing is vaping. That's it. You are making such a bloody racket. You've got your mobile phone turned on. I'm trying to watch a film and I'm having a vape. So, shut up.
They are covering the sounds. They are, Davey, they are just covering the sounds of love.
Yeah.
I don't know. Our local cinema that we go to has, personally love it. You can get like chips and sort of cheese sauce.
Uh-huh.
And if you were that big chomp down, that sounds quite evocative. I was sat next to one couple, all sort of communing.
Stop it.
As it were, and sort of look all like this, and her hand was down and going up to the mouth, and like I actually thought she was. And the sound was, and they were eating the jalapenos off this chip thing. And I'm like,
nice.
You see, I went to when we went to Disneyland Paris. I was on the plane and I took one of those mini screwdrivers, you know, the tiny little ones with a tiny little cartoon on it, and it was menthol flavour, because I didn't realise I could actually take a proper e-cig on there. So I was hiding it in my hand and I was vaping on the plane. Vaping. No one cared. Yeah, stealthing, but no one cared. You could smell it. My kids were sat next to me and I was saying, "Oh, Daddy, is that menthol?" Yeah, it's menthol. And my kids play a game in the car, depending on what juice I'm using. I'm sat in the car, I'm driving away. Daddy, is that Opal Fruits? You got it. Daddy, is that Skittles? No, you're wrong. Guess again. You see, it's kind
How
of
often do you get bad eggs?
Yeah.
At the vape meet yesterday, we had quite a few because them who should not be named actually made a juice called the Voop juice, I might add, without my permission. And one was cheese and onion, the other one was garlic, in which I thought he quit, but we got two blokes to do him, and oh my days. It smelled. Oh,
but isn't that something there? I mean, I know we're running low on time here, but isn't that something there that we should be trying to avoid? Is juices that are not nice and juices that will produce bad odours and bad flavours.
No, just no. We should have vape-friendly establishments. A vapour is a vapour is a vapour. It doesn't matter what Omidus coil is, what flavour his juice is. A vapour is a vapour. If it's vape-friendly, it's vape-friendly.
I agree with that.
Are you ever going to go to a biker bar and tell them they should be riding mopeds?
I wouldn't do that, Davey.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that at all, because I'm 5'3" and I'd get the chick.
You're not 5'3", you're 5'2 3/4. That's why you can't make a decent coil.
As a
you lied earlier. Right, but anyway.
As a point myself, don't do it.
My point is that if you have bad smelling juices, I mean really bad smelling juices, then
look
yes,
at the environment we
the
use
establishment has every right to kick you out of there and say, look, you can't vape that. If you have a nice smelling juice, then surely there's no problem with that.
Well, it depends what you call nice. I hate the smell of custard. I hate the smell of custard juice. Ask Sav. It's foul to me. And yet there are... I may well like the smell of bacon and garlic with the addition of caramelised onions and fried egg. Who knows?
And a Redux compote.
Mm.
But no, look at the environment we use those juices, though, David. Right? It was in a vape meet. It was a competition to win 20 quid of my own hard-earned cash. Right? 20 quid to the person who can take 5 hits on this, the fifth on a 3-second nose hit. We had takers. They were willing to do that to earn that 20 quid just to give the group in there a bit of a giggle. Yes, it smelled foul. Yes, I took a toot on it to prove that it was consumable at least by sort of human standards. It was in an environment of which was geared up for it. And here's the irony: people who did it actually took the juices home away with them. Yeah, they're not normal people. But they won that. They stood up to the plate. They vaped it. They did it. The one lad has one of these, and I ramped it up to 100 watts for him.
Oh God!
Yeah, he went well, Benny.
Andy, can you just read that message from Spiritus Vapes?
Indeed,
Can't
I'm
quite
going
read
to wrap it up as well because it's just on 10 o'clock. Spiritus Vape, sorry guys, I want to agree with you, but I think you need to get a grip. Who cares where you can or can't vape? Just don't vape for a bit or go somewhere else instead of bitching about everything you hate about non-vapers. We've got big problems in that. Okay, on that note, guys.
We could do a whole show about that, but
we could, but it's
we could, but we're running out of time, so we're going to have to
indeed
call it quits.
Right, tomorrow night, of course, there is the good old Marco and Gary Dibbelau. Wednesday is something, the Cave of Matt Garrett. Thursday, of course, the Hayes Hour. No show Friday. Saturday night shenanigans at mrdespaper.co.uk. And I'm presuming at some point we will bring something back on a Sunday, but for the time being there is nothing. Of course, on our lovely sister pages, well, I say sister pages, people that we like, ry4radio.com. Tonight is Reggie. He's probably already broadcasting. Tomorrow night is randomly selected DJs, or Rob Taylor is sorted. Wednesday is Nick's Juicy Bits. There will be no Twigget Zone because Darren's off to Bulgaria or something like that. Friday is the return of the lock-in, I'm reliably told by Tim himself. I popped in to see him on Saturday. And of course, Saturday, Gaz is Saturday set, and myself on a Sunday with Smash Up, which brings us neatly back round to Mondays.
And we've got to also discuss what's happening on Bank Holiday, because it is, of course, going to be Easter weekend. So we don't know what's happening then.
I will be travelling to Sussex and back, so I should imagine our show will change next week. So it may not be us on Monday.
Nah, we'll get it all sorted.
We'll get it all sorted. Just keep an eye on all the relevant social media. You will know and you will find out. Okay, guys, thank you very much to Mr. Dawn. Thank you very much, of course, to Danny. I suppose you're all right, Davey. And of course, massive thanks to the beautiful, beautiful woman. That is the beautiful bank. I can't do it, Dave. You do it. Thanks, Al, for me, mate.
Thanks,
what?
The beautiful, what? Delicious babe, or whatever it is you do.
The bounty-licious beauty that is the one and only Sav.
Yeah, was it really worth that?
I'm just stunned they don't know. You can't get the staff these days.
You really can't. I mean,
the ending had to.
I'm taking you to
Paris.
Fair enough. You win.
Honestly, guys, thank you very much for watching. We did have a show planned, so this has all been off the cuff. We hope you've enjoyed it. Danny, thank you so much for joining in, and welcome to the team.
You're very welcome.
And it's great to have you here. So we will see you all very soon. Thank you, and good night.
Bye-bye.
Ta-da. It's so powerful, that Davy Malik, for somebody 5'2".
So masculine.